Yo, what's happening everybody? King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Battle League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing a really strong Element Cup team that if you guys are trying to gain some elo here during this week, maybe if you don't have stuff built for Ultra League, this is a really strong team that you should consider running, and I'm actually going to make a variation to this team for tomorrow, because in this team, Bulbasaur actually got a slight nerf. Bulbasaur used to get to the seed bombs in 5, now it gets to them in 6-5, which is a considerable difference here. I'm turning off my Wi-Fi. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit of lag in this first matchup right here. Now, I was playing some Ultra League today. Unfortunately, I went 3-2 for a set. I was using a double grass team in Ultra League. What can I expect? I went 3-2 and then I went on a 3-game losing streak thereafter. So I ended up going, 3 out of 8 in Ultra League. And then in the remaining sets here, I went 10 out of 12 with this little cup team. I actually done some more games on stream in Discord and went 1 out of 5, unfortunately. So I guess you could add that up. What is that? 11 out of 17, basically. I was pretty unlucky to get RPS'd in those matches. But this team is super strong, and we're going to get into basically how you should play it. I do have to say a shout out to Human Catcherbug. I got this team idea from him last season, and it's worked extremely well. You'll see that even with a Chinchu lead on your ducklett, and if they have a Vulpix, you can overcome some really tough matches, and I really like this team here. Guys, we hit 2,000 subscribers a couple of days ago, and literally within 2 days we're on 2,100. Big thank you if you're just a brand new subscriber here. Let me know in the comments down below if you're pretty new to the channel, and I want to say a big thank you to you personally. If you guys do want to help out the videos, drop a like, and let me know if you guys would like to see Ultra League or Little Cup, well, Element Cup this week. I may do some Ultra League content, but to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of amazing Pokemon built. I will definitely do some content for Ultra League, but do let me know your preferences in the comments down below. So in this matchup right here, it takes Seal about 15 turns to get to the Icy Wind, so I was a little bit late in swapping in, and this is where Bulbasaur is slightly worse than it was before. You can't quite outpace to these moves just as well. We're going to basically look to farm as much as possible. The opponent catches on Vulpix here, and they've left with at least an Aqua Tail, so that's perfectly fine at this point. We can come in with Ducklett here. I'm going to go for a Bubble Beam straight away, just to basically look to debuff the opponent. And the opponent will fire off a Body Slam, and you're going to see from a non-shadow Vulpix, this won't do too much damage. We can maybe even look to farm this the whole way down. We do just about get the farm down. They're probably going to come back in with Seal to look to snipe. We're going to fire off a Bubble Beam straight away, and I think we're going to look to basically farm it the whole way. Now, I think this is just the Aqua Tail. We'll see what the opponent throws. It is just the Aqua Tail, and we'll see what the opponent comes in with. They've got a Ducklett of their own. Can we get to the Brave Bird? We just about get to the Brave Bird, and that's going to be a good game. Boom, doesn't quite take them out. So the opponent's going to be on a Brave Bird, so I come in with Chikorita, go for 2, go to school kids, learn how to count. Jimmy Finn would be absolutely proud of me right now, learning to count and catching the move on the low health Bulbasaur. The opponent's forced to throw in that situation, right, because one more Vine Whip would basically take them out. So it's a very safe catch right there, and that's a good game. So hopping into the next one here, we've got a little bit of Duck on Duck. This one's Shadow. So with my Ducklett IVs, I can generally survive one Brave Bird. So what I've decided to do is just go for one strategy and stick to it here. I'm just going to Bubble Beam bait every time. That's what I've decided to do, and I suggest that you either just Brave Bird every time or Bubble Beam bait every time. Just come up with an idea and stick to it and just try to find consistency in one strategy. We actually did go for the Bubble Beam. I think going for it twice is not great. I think what I'll probably look to adapt to is Bubble Beam first, Brave Bird second. The opponent comes in with a Whipper, and this thing is not going to enjoy our backline. Now, I made a huge mistake here. As you can see, the Whipper CMP's on this, and the Whipper does win CMP. It's got a very high attack stat. CMPing on the Body Slam, super unfortunate. And what I decide to do here is look to no bubble this and get an extra Vine Whip through, which will look to give me a little bit more energy for the Ducklett. I may have been able to get to the Power Whip, but I'm just going to fire off this Body Slam. Being a Shadow Ducklett, this will absolutely wipe it out. And then comes an Execute. This is bad, folks. This is bad. What I decide to do here with my Poison type Bulbasaur is come in. You can only ever get off one move on this thing. If you've got really good IVs, you may be able to get off the Sludge Bomb, but I know from experience that I can't, and we look to fire that off. The opponent CMPs us, which is the best case scenario. Seed Bomb coming through. They go for the Undercharge. I'm not going to let that happen. We're swapping straight out to Ducklett, and we're going to farm this thing the whole way down. So super close match there in the end. And yeah, I made a mistake. The Whipper gets to those in 4-4. A lot of Pokemon get to them in 5-4. Whippers just get to them in straight 4. So what I'm going to do here, this is a really good lead as well. Body Slam was going to come through here. This is a really good lead. Body Slam, bang, and what we're going to do is actually go for the Brave Bird here on this leap, which would look to pretty much not one-shot it, but almost take it out. We're going to come into Bulbasaur, which actually is neutral damage against these infestations, and the opponent gets the attack rise, which is pretty sad. I probably could have just committed to the Sludge Bomb here, but this is neutral damage and it'll do a lot. The opponent does let us take both shields, And at this point, I think you guys can see what's going to happen. The opponent, they're going to fire off Ancient Powers. My name is King, but I am a farmer. We're going to keep farming this up and get up to 100 energy. And with 100 energy in Ducklett and 0 shields, this thing can beat just about anything. Now, I don't want to get taken out, so I'm going to catch a move on Chikorita and get ahead in energy on this as well. We'll look to see what's coming in here. It is Ducklett, and I wanted to get to the Power Whip. Once again, I just don't think I'm going to be able to. The opponent got through about 5 here, I think. We're going to go straight for the Brave Bird. So they could have CMP'd us on the Bubble Beam, which would have been, you know, whatever. And at this point, the opponent's just in an absolute mess. In comes Wooper, Brave Bird number 2 coming through. Will this take out the Wooper from full health? Yes, it does. And in comes Laleep. Good night, Laleep. Good night, team. And as you can see, if you get that energy advantage in Ducklett, it's just absolutely deadly. So very good game, very well played. We have a very negative lead here, but we do have a plan for this. We come into Chikorita, and we'll see what the opponent comes into. They come into Vulpix, right? So this is an IV-dependent matchup, but depending on the normal Vulpix's IVs, you can sort of tell by how much damage your Vine Whips are doing. It is possible for you to win this matchup in the 2-shield. As long as you maintain your energy, or your energy advantage. If you're hit by 1 Vine Whip, you can win this match, potentially, if the opponent has pretty bad stats or whatever, or if it is a Shadow, you can basically look to farm it down. I can see that I'm not going to be able to farm it down, so I feel like the best case scenario here is to get both shields off it. The opponent's going to get to the Weather Ball in time, or the Body Slam. This is not perfect, they do have a Chinchou still, so what I decide to do here is actually come in with Bulbasaur and get the farm. I know they'll come straight back in with Chinchou. We're going to see what's in the back, and we're just going to hope that one Sludge Bomb can just threaten anything in the back, and it is a Lotad. Ladies and gents, this Lotad is going to get absolutely one-shot by Bulbasaur. This thing does hit like a truck in this league. Boom, that absolutely one-shots, and we're going to outpace to the Seed Bomb. I made sure to go for an overfarm. I believe it takes them like 10 Razor Leafs to get to a Bubble Beam, if I'm not mistaken. It's somewhere in that range. I can look it up here for sure. But good games to the opponent. And yeah, you can see like just getting the energy advantage with Ducklett or Bulbasaur with the shields down is so vital. In comes another bad lead, and in comes Seawaddle. Seawaddle is quite an underrated pick for this cup because it knows the bug type moves, and of course there's a grass type which can deal with Chinchou. Can we get to another move? We can, but the opponent does throw the move off. So once again, we're going to look to get energy in Ducklett. There's not a move this thing can throw against us that will threaten us, and we're farming this thing the whole way down. Back in comes Chinchou, and even though this is resisted, and what I decide to do here, this is only 6 by the way. The opponent did not throw in 7, so I know this is just a Bubble Beam. The opponent's debuffing our attack because they don't want to get hit by a full damage Brave Bird, because look how much damage this Brave Bird does. It gets them really, really deep. We get a Vine Whip through, and in comes another bloody Slowpoke. These confusion users are very difficult for this team. So what I'm going to do here is actually swap out Bulbasaur for another Pokemon tomorrow, because Bulbasaur was nerfed with the Seed Bombs, and you know, at this point I just let this go. I know I can't win this one. Good games to the opponent. You're going to see a ton of these Execute and Slowpoke teams, so Bulbasaur is a little bit risky. I recommend going for Shadow Chikorita and another Grass type. I'll be showcasing that Grass type tomorrow, and yeah, in comes this Ducklett matchup. I go for the CMP here. The opponent actually wins CMP, so this probably will one-shot me. So I'm just going to let it go. We're going to look to farm it down, and in comes Snover. So that's a little bit rough. Again, like, that's just my strategy here. It's like, you know, try to win CMP. If I don't win CMP, just let it go. In general, if you don't win CMP, that usually means they've got a higher attack stat, and if they've got a higher attack stat, they will more than likely one-shot you. We do go for the full farm down here, and we're going to look to probably fire off a Power Whip on the Ducklett here. We'll see what the opponent decides to do. They come back in with Ducklett, and as you're about to see, if they let this go, this will do an absolute ton of damage, but they do decide to shield it very cleverly. Now, the opponent does farm up here. I have to call it bait at this point, right? Aurelius coming through. Good games. That was basically my win condition, to call it bait. Try to get bubble beamed or something. Like, people do be bubble beaming. So, so far so good, right? I've played 7 matches so far. I've won 5 out of 7. Can't complain. Had 2 pretty rough matches with Chinchous and stuff there. We managed to win one of them, and of course we got Brave Birded by the Ducklett. That's just how it goes sometimes. We're going to hop into the next one, and we're going to see if we can maybe look to do a little bit better. We're getting a bit of a slow queue time. We're up to in around the 2200s, which is quite nice here. And Ducklett versus Ducklett once again. You're going to see this lead all over the place. Like, this is just a very, very common lead. We're going to play it out the exact same way, but the opponent catches it on Badoo. Now, this thing knows Hidden Power Electric, and I stayed in here for a little bit too long, I think. I'm looking to farm up here and look to basically bait the Bubble Beam. See if the opponent decides to shield it. The opponent is not shielded. Very, very good calls by the opponent. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? Screw this guy. I'm going to farm up with Chikorita and look to fire off just a really, really heavy move on the Ducklett whenever it comes back in. We're farming up here. Body Slam coming through. and we're going to look to fire off a power whip. Now the opponent thinks I'm a baiter, but you know, generally I don't bait. So I'm going to fire off this grass knot, which at this range will look to one-shot the ducklett. Will the opponent respect it? No, they do respect it, bro. Stop respecting my moves. Stop respecting my moves. Oh my goodness. They go for the bubble beam. I'm not respecting their moves. And can we get to the brave bird in time? The opponent gets to a move. Again, I just have to call this and see what they do. They go for the bubble beam. I'm going to fire for the brave bird. The opponent catches it on chest pin. Does the opponent think I'm baiting once again? I'm not baiting, folks. Goodbye. And at this point, the opponent's in a bad position. We can come in with Chikorita, force the opponent to throw. And at this point, it's going to be a race to the farm down. Bubble beam coming through. They do get extra energy, which is annoying, but that one Vine Whip damage could make the difference. Now, I know this is just a bubble beam, but at this point, like, I think I just need to shield up everything that the opponent throws. Any additional damage could make a difference here, and the opponent finally realizes we're winning that race. And that's the amazing thing about these grass types against ducklett. You're doing neutral damage, and the Pokemon are so glassy in this cup that they do a decent little chip into them. In comes Vulpix. I need to figure out maybe a better way to play this. Maybe I should just go for straight Brave Bird. I decided to go straight Bubble Beam because it debuffs the opponent and it allows me to basically just eat a move. You can play this out in the zeros, like Vulpix wins this in the zero shield scenario. Body Slam coming through. We're going to fire off the Bubble Beam again. In comes Chinchu. This is absolutely perfect. The opponent does not want to get their Vulpix taken out, and at this point we're going to look to just get a ton of farm on this thing. The opponent will get to one move here, but if they fire off the Thunderbolt, they won't get to two. They fire off the Bubble Beam. The opponent is baiting here, and I think I look to CMP. I did not realize I lost CMP. Another mistake by me, CMPing the opponent twice. That's something that you guys can learn from this video. Do not CMP that. I go for the complete undercharge, looking to get one more move through, which I do manage to do, and at this point we're going to look to go for the Body Slam on Vulpix. Will the opponent shield it up, or will they let it go? They do shield it up, but we're right at another one, and this one Body Slam if let go. We'll take out the Vulpix and we'll see what's in the back. The opponent double shields it. I swap straight into Ducklett and catch the Weller Ball. I end up shielding it anyway, but it's the Body Slam, and the opponent has got a ton of energy here. I'm going to try to maintain some health on my Ducklett and maybe attempt to farm this thing down. The opponent does not let that happen, and the opponent goes for a catch. They do not successfully catch, and they realize the game is just over. We can go for an overfarm, and that's going to be enough to take them out. I'm going to be honest with you guys, a lot of people don't like this cup. I love this cup. Like, I gained, what, like, a ton of elo last season on this cup, like 400 elo or something. I gained a lot in this cup last season, and I think I'm going to do the same this season as well. Ducklett lead. What are we going to do here? What's the opponent going to do? Okay, we go for the CMP on the Bubble Beam. Will the opponent respect it or not? Let's see. Boom, the opponent does not respect it. I'm not going to respect it either. Let's see what the opponent's doing here. Earliest coming through. So at this point, I think I do just go straight for the Brave Bird, which will guarantee a shield or knockout. We'll see if the opponent respects it or not. I feel like maybe I just need to switch up my strategy because I'm getting the things shielded incorrectly here. I'm thinking, right, okay, just take me out. I'll swap straight out, get ahead on energy with this thing, CMP on the Body Slam, which will definitely look to take this thing out. If the opponent shields here, I'm happy enough with this. We can maybe just look to go for a farm down. Now, was this enough for the Aerialius? It's just a Bubble Beam. I think I should have been counting a little bit better here, because I think this is just a Bubble Beam as well. But at the time, I thought that I miscounted by one, and if I miscount by one, that could be the Aerialius. So super annoying, and, you know, it's not great on my part, to be completely honest there. I guess, like, 2 Bubble Beams would have put me in a range where I was not going to get off all these Body Slams. So, like, maybe it works out, but I'm going to go for catch and Ducklett here as well, because the opponent, again, is pretty much forced to throw. And then I think at this point, what we look to do is probably come in with Bulbasaur, or do we come in with Chikorita, just to get rid of it? I think we may just look to get rid of it here. We CMP on the Body Slam, because the opponent had quite a lot of energy as well, so I think this is the correct play. Either way, get rid of their energy, and they're coming in with that thing, so I know that they're weak in the back, and in comes Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur is just about to feast. One Mud Bomb would do a lot of damage, because again, like, this joint poison typing is really hurting in this cup. Of course, if you see the Charm user, like, that can be a little bit helpful, but more often than not, it's more hurtful than helpful. Turbo Lead here, we swap out. In comes a Confusion user. I think we should be able to look to get both shields off the opponent, so that is one positive thing here. Maybe look to farm it down with Ducklett, and yeah, I decided to go for an overfarm. I think Execute went CMP. Didn't want to CMP the opponent. I actually need to check that one up. I'm going to have a little look here. These are just little things that you need to learn about this cup, which can make a huge difference. These two Pokemon have similar attack, so it is 50-50 basically whether you win CMP tie or not. And again, once again, we're just going for this huge farm down with the Ducklett. We just need to hope that there's not another Confusion user in the back. Can we get the farm down in time? We can, before they get to another Ancient Power. I'm going to swap straight out, and in comes the Slowpoke. And we're going to look to absolutely one-shot the Slowpoke, which is going to be putting us in a really good position here. And yep, goodbye. In comes the Chinchu. Can they get to a move in time? I think this is just a Bubble Beam, or actually it might be the Thunderbolt, but I have a Brave Bird loaded on the Ducklett, and I'm actually overfarming a little bit. I know they're on very low energy. I just want to make sure that this does take them out. Brave Bird does about 45 to 50% depending on IVs. So like even if you get that in a position where you get it low with one of the grass types, that one Brave Bird does a lot of damage, and that's just why this Pokemon is so overpowered in this cup. We're going to hop into the next one, and as you can see, this team is just working super well, and that's one of the reasons I love this cup. Like I said, gained a ton of elo last season, and it's one of the main reasons I hit Legend. We're going to come in here against Wooper, an amazing lead. Swing can for body slams, but they have no fast move pressure at all. I can look to basically one-shot it with Brave Bird, swap out into one of my grass types. I'm either going to completely take them out, take shield advantage. I'm getting some sort of an advantage. We don't quite take them out, and we actually get ahead by 1 on the Chikorita, which is pretty vital. I knew that they might have a Vulpix, and I wanted to get ahead by 1. As soon as I seen that I didn't take them out, I was guaranteeing myself to get ahead by 1 right there. In comes Vulpix, and at this point, we're actually doing, I think we're getting the breakpoint on this one. You can see this is doing a little bit more damage than last time, and at this point, the opponent's trying their best to CMP me. If you're ever in this position with Chikorita, do not let the opponent CMP you, right? Because that will basically give them the win condition. Now, at this point, I don't necessarily need to take Switch. I'd rather take shields off the opponent, and we decide to go on ahead and catch on Ducklett, which will most likely be a Weather Ball. This will do minimal damage to my Ducklett, and in comes a Ducklett of their own. Now, we're a little bit ahead on energy. I thought they were actually ahead by 1 there, and I thought they might be going for earliest potentially, so I wanted to get this move off. The opponent's committing to the farm down, but we end up CMP tying on the Bubble Beam. One Bubble Beam will just about take us out, unless the opponent like goes for a really zero undercharge here. I think the opponent actually does go for the undercharge, and of course they're debuffed, so they get the extra farm. So the opponent has a decent amount of energy, and you guys see how deadly this Pokemon is in the no shield. Now this match right here, this I think is an IV dependent CMP tie as well, so I should have been just going for the CMP, but my thinking here is I can come in with Bulbasaur, the opponent might want to swap out, and I'll get the farm on Bulbasaur, outpace to the Seed Bomb, and I'll be able to win this matchup anyway. Good games to the opponent. I should have just went for the CMP tie. I thought Ducklett definitely won it, but after looking it up afterwards, again it's just an IV dependent CMP tie. So good games, we went 5-0 at the end. Overall went super positive with this team, and I highly recommend trying it if you're looking to go for a climb. Definitely one of my favourite cups, and hopefully I'll be making a push towards veteran this week in this little cup. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, thank you for the support in the videos. If you've not yet done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications as well. We also have a very good Discord community, so feel free to join us in there, and I have Twitter as well, all of which will be in the description down below. Thank you very much everybody, have a fantastic day. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for a brand new video.